Hello everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology. I'm Denise and this is your astrological transit reading for November 20th through the 26th. And of course I'll do my best to cover, most of the world events. I really don't like what's going on in Ukraine. This is so painful. In Poland, right? But anyway, we have the new moon in Sag coming in, and we have Jupiter this week. We have Jupiter turning direct. What else? Oh, yes, and in the USA, I'm going to call it Happy Indigenous Peoples Day, right? Because that's what I'm grateful for. Not Christopher Columbus. So anyway, let me we'll switch out cameras and show you these charts. Okay, all right, hold on. Okay, so I have highlighted the aspects that last all week long. And I just, so you can have that, so you can see it visually as the backdrop. So you can see Saturn is still squaring Uranus, which has been for months. That actually, Saturn went direct, last month, October, but it doesn't get even out of its retrogradation, like shade, they call it the retroshade, until the end of January next year. So, and Uranus is retrograde, and so it will move out of orb. Hold on, let me see. Well, let me grab Uranus leaves the retrogradation zone May 9th, not till May 9th. It does turn direct, you can see here, January 22nd, 2023. It'll make it back to 14. So anyway, my point here is that we're in this tension field because Uranus has to get beyond that 18-degree point. Saturn moves a little faster, but because of the retrogradation here, we're going to be, I'm thinking it's until the spring before this tension, before spring of next year, or we'll be in it until spring of next year, this tension field. But it's tight now. You can see that 16 to 19, that's only 3 degrees there. But it's important to remember that the slower, like I've said before, the slower moving planets are the stronger ones, although Saturn, it just kind of sits there like a mountain. But it's testing. It's our mastery planet where we get to test things out and see if things work. Well, Harvey Weinstein is finding out that things aren't working well for him. Hold on, do I have his? Yeah, I do. I found his chart this morning, so check that out. Here's the astrology in action. Okay, first of all, here's the south node at 13 degrees Scorpio. North node and Uranus are right there in Taurus. Okay, so south node's a past. Scorpio has to do, actually this whole polarity can have to do with sex scandals, crisis, things. Uranus brings everything out into the open, whether you like it or not. Check out his chart, you guys. Look at this. 13 degrees, right? So here we have the south node, literally right there on his ascendant. The ascendant is the point in our chart that magnetizes things. So all the transits that keep happening, we magnetize it through our field of self, and we get to work things out. And then over here, he has Uranus and the north node, right? And that's just shaking things up. That Uranus right there. Now this is the descendant, so that's his relationship point. So him and his relationship, his past, and then his relationship with the past. It's going through that polarity of the nodal return. And the nodes happen every 18 and a half years, sometimes 19. Well, What was happening to him, like around 2004? Well, that's when he was committing these rapes, these crimes, these awful acts of sexual assault, and now they're up on the stand, right? Now he's paying the price for that. Because now he has a full nodal return to his ascendant and descendant. So that is that is a major shakeup. And then also we could see Pluto would be somewhere in here transiting. Yeah. And then Saturn would be right in here. So, his third house of communication, lies, how he used to gather people as means of his own, I don't even know what words to use, his own atrocities. And then natally, he has Pluto in Leo up there, Pluto retrograde no less, right up on his midheaven. So it's like he came in this lifetime with a pattern of, well, here you go. You better turn this around or you're going to get caught. I would say he's probably one of those monsters from past lifetimes who didn't get caught or got caught but not, I don't know. Maybe justice wasn't served. But it sure is being dished up to him now, isn't it? What else would be going on in his? Chiron would be about in here. I didn't run his transit chart. I just wanted to look at his natal, and then now I'm looking and saying more. So it can be a very painful polarity to have Virgo Pisces polarity. And then look at this North Node with this, Venus, the planet of women, and then Pisces, the sign of media and film, and mostly film, and just putting it all out there. And then Uranus is trying that. Yeah, he has the aspect of architect in his chart, so he knows how to make things come together, and he did it, you can see, by promises. Yeah, Chiron would be in here, getting things would be coming out from promises he's made in the past to get what he wanted, the way he expanded, and then relationship karma here with Saturn retrograde in Libra, and Saturn. So Neptune again. Here we are with film, movie stars, glamour, opposing Jupiter. Like this piece in his chart right here is really important. Wow. Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I just thought, here's the way astrology really works. Amazing. So when those transits come around, people, their dues come. Time to pay. So, okay, but for us, sadly, we've lost the House. Sadly, we're losing Nancy Pelosi, but she's making way, and she's promising to hang in there and support the younger people that want to come in. She's making way for that. She gave a wonderful speech this morning, just really heartfelt. And then there was this one little group of Republicans that didn't clap, no stand up when it was just awful, that part of it. But the rest of it, way more than, there was probably maybe just 10 of them that were just, jerks. And who knows how many of them just weren't even there, wouldn't even show up. But anyway, for us, for our personal experience, and probably what we'll be witnessing politically, for the weekly overview, this Saturn testing the limits of society. All weekend beyond, until spring next year, it's about either creating new laws or getting laws passed that have been created in the past but haven't been put through. So, for instance, like the Electoral Count Act, if that could go through soon, then we won't have to worry about having another January 6th riot, because there would be no need for that that formal coming in and counting something. It would just it would be a process. There would be no need to certify the electoral votes. And then hopefully someday we can get rid of the Electoral College. But that Saturn that was squaring the nodes and Uranus involved is what shook all of that up. All that was coming in, that was there, moving towards, the square, the challenge, because squares are always challenges. But they turn into strengths if you work them. And like if you have squares in your natal chart, you can work them through. But we have a confrontation here of waking up, the need to wake up for safety and prosperity, self-preservation in Taurus. Uranus is about waking up. Taurus is about self-preservation, has everything to do with bliss and pleasure, owning your own body, having your bodily autonomy, having security, being in principles that promote abundance rather than going into the negative reality of greed. So, we're talking like luxury here, and then sometimes the crisis. We're talking comfort here, and sometimes we have to fight for it. We thought Roe v. Wade was the law of the land. Well, it wasn't codified, and then now we have this, I call them scrotus, the dirty ones on the court. But thank God for those 3 women. Except for Amy Coney Barrett. Thank God for Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. The other one I don't know. I mean, we just have to wait and see. So far, she's just been terrible, though. Okay, so that's the backdrop there. We're still the need to create new laws or get laws passed or enforce laws that were already on the books. Like the Constitution, a lot of it was on the honor system, which is why we had to go through January 6th, like why things couldn't be stopped. Why does the president have so much power? That needs to be changed. All these things that need to be changed. Hold on, I need to grab a drink of water real quick. Be right back. That's better. Okay. So, also all week long, Saturn, besides squaring Uranus, and it's like up there going, what is this what you guys want? Do you want to fight for it? Because we do have, besides the square to Uranus, do you want to fight for your freedom? Do you want to, or are you just going to let it slide? No, we fought, and which is why at least we kept the Senate. But with the trine to Mars, there's still the fight. And here's the fight here because it's square Neptune. So here's our aspect here that represents the spin of lies. That will be continuing on until December 4th. We have the square. But this Mars retrograde won't be completely done and out of our way and through the sign of Gemini until January 12th, but then it still has to get out of the shade, which won't be until March, middle of March next year. So we're in for a fight this winter and spring. We have to continually speak out and say that's a lie. It was nice to see that. And I think I'll probably get a separate reading on that done, but it was nice to see that when Trump, when he announced, when he went, he's in Mar-a-Lago, well, first of all, he set the thing up so that anybody that came in to listen to his announcement, they couldn't leave until he left. So they're like held hostage. Meanwhile, he's blathering on for almost an hour, or over an hour, I don't even know. And even Fox News just kept, turning him off. They'd check in, he'd say something, okay, well, we'll come back, and then they'd go back in, and then they'd turn it off. He got burned. He got burned bad by Fox News. And even Rupert Murdoch just didn't even put anything on his little New York Post paper about him. He just put something about like Florida man makes announcement, but they said it was like on page 26. It wasn't even on the cover. Oh my God. So he's been burned. I don't know that this is going to be successful here, but this is the test, and this is the lies. I expect to see media organizations such as OAN and what's that other one, Newsmax. I expect to see them kind of fall apart. Maybe they'll start up under a new name because that's what they usually do. But the lies are being, the lies are being told. They're no longer they're not really just saying misperceptions or whatever anymore in the news. They're calling them outright lies. And they're calling out people that are not telling the truth by saying, I think you're lying. Things are changing anyway. So that's the backdrop there. With Saturn to Mars, there's still going to be that flow of information, but there's always that test of like, is this... just think of Aquarius as, with Saturn, combined with Saturn, laws that rule society and humanity. And is that what we want? We get to continue to move the thought process with Gemini towards making decisions. Remember, Gemini is all about questioning things, learning the facts, right? Mercury's up here in Sag with Venus, traveling through, we're at that late degree Scorpio. Pretty soon, the sun will be in Sag. But meanwhile, Mercury and Venus have already, look, they're just like 5 degrees. They're tight together. So we're talking about women's rights. We're talking about the truth. We're talking about moving forward. Sag has everything to do with freedom and speaking up and bringing meaning into your life. Exploring what matters to you. And Uranus is over here in Taurus has been helping us for quite some time with that, and will continue. It takes 7 years to get through one sign with Uranus. So exploring meaning, talking about it, getting more information, thinking about it, talking about it some more, right? The Gemini Sag polarity is learning, questioning, talking about it, all forms of communication. With Mars there in Gemini, it's just constant energy moving about that. And then with Sag, it's like, oh, are they speaking the truth? Speaking the truth? Am I hearing? Venus is related to what we hear. And we're processing the information at lightning speed, because now I would think most of us have a really, really, really fine-tuned bullshit meter. So we can thank the planets for helping us with that as well. Let's see, these other, I'll address these other transits later, because they're more of a daily type of a thing. But for this week, the overview here is that now Jupiter will go direct soon, but right now it's tight with Neptune just kind of blowing things up. And in Pisces, that can be the crazy thing. I mean, that was the thing with what's-his-face, Harvey Weinstein. Like, who would have ever thought that guy was a Pisces? Right? Sun, Pisces, Mercury. Sun, Pisces, Venus, and North Node in Pisces. Right? So he's a very, very distorted Pisces. Very distorted. So Neptune and Jupiter and Pisces together could bring out even more of the lies and subterfuge from the past, and it could bring out more, like we saw with Gavin Newsom's wife. I can't remember if she was Jane Doe number 4 or whatever, but we're talking somebody who was famous. Because with Jupiter and Neptune both, and especially together, could be very famous in some type of, film or beauty or drama or, glamour, and anything like that. So there's so much coming out about all the things from the past, and we can give Jupiter credit for bringing it up again. Remember, we had, was it back August of, not this August, but last year, I think it was August 12th, of 2021, we had the conjunction. Jupiter was here with Neptune, and things were really heating up with his trial, I bet. Because this has taken years to bring this guy into, to bring Weinstein into integrity. Well, I don't know the hell would be an integrity, but bring him into, what's the word? Accountability. So, yeah. So for this weekly overview here, Jupiter with this semi-square here to the North Node it's going to have this a little tension where we're realizing that now we know what we know and we know which way we want to go. If we want to go in a certain direction, we need to act. We can't just sit around and think about it. We actually have to act upon it. And that's what we're, that's why we have this aspect here. So all week long, we're going to be moving forward, I would think. And maybe partly it's because, the midterms took up a lot of energy. And now we're in the place where it's like, okay, get some things done. And there's not this background going on so much. But the news cycle is still going to be putting a lot out. We're still going to be dealing with an awful lot. But nothing like it was, I don't think. So with the Saturn trine to Mars, there's a flow of information. If we want it, we know where to find it. It's always there. But because of the square to Neptune and with Jupiter involved, again, I'm going to say, take your space from the news cycle. And make sure you give yourself your own personal downtime so that you don't get overwhelmed. It gets to be too much sometimes. Actually, that's the understatement of the last year, right? Or more. So anyway, for this, I think that's pretty good for the weekly overview. The moon is going to keep moving. Let's see, maybe this Chiron in conjunct the South Node, maybe this might be all week long. Yeah, actually it will, I think. I probably should have highlighted that in there. So Chiron is our wounding, but also our gifts. When you work through the wounding, the gifts are readily there for you to give and to behold, within others. Because the work you do on yourself also holds space for others to do that for themselves. So when you're working from your inner integrity, knowing that your matter, your presence on the planet, the fact that you're here alive is more than enough. Once you know that and know that you belong to all of us, we belong to each other, we're all one, in the heart of hearts, then that is just the adjustment, which is what a quincunx is all about. That's just the adjustment to the past that we need to make for healing. And so when we have that down, then the gifts come through, and the gifts of Aries are about trailblazing. Aries is so, just think Mars. Mars rules Aries. Okay, so think of moving forward. And yeah, sometimes it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back because we have these natural instincts that want to come through. Just think of like in the tarot, all of the wands, the suit of wands, and how there's so much movement, the depiction of the cards, with the artwork. It's the same with Aries, excuse me, and Mars. Also with Sag and Leo. We don't have anything in Leo over here today, or this week, but we do have Sag. And Mars is the ruler of Aries. Used to be the ruler of Scorpio, but we switched it up when we figured out Pluto was there. So, but you could still say Mars is a ruler of Scorpio. Some astrologers do that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, because that's what we did for eons or more. Well, no, eons a billion years at least, but it's what we've done for centuries. So anyway, back to, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I went and kept going. With Aries energy, it's that part of us that just moves forward. We have to be careful with being impulsive sometimes, but it's really good at self-assertion. It's really good at moving forward, coming from our own individual uniqueness, and having courage. Having courage. I mean, I always look to the signs of Aries, Leo, and Sag for courage. Aries is that first, like, I'm here. And Leo's like, oh, we love you. Or I'm here, I have a heart, I love. And then Sag helps us find meaning. So that's that natural trine between the three. Sag helps us express and go towards our intuition and move towards what we believe in. So Sag is very much, as well as Jupiter, because Jupiter rules Sag, very much in tune with discovering what brings meaning into your life. What do you really believe in? And you try, over all the lifetimes, you get to try new things out and go, oh, well, that one didn't work. Oh, that turned out to be a lie. Oh, how about this one? And we keep moving on. Or this one was a distraction, but you keep grounding, right? You keep finding the right thing. That's what Saturn's all about. Jupiter opens things up, and then Saturn goes, well, okay, let's try it. And then if it doesn't work, we've got Uranus to break it up, and then Neptune to dissolve it. And Pluto just keeps trucking along, helping you find your power, your personal power. And we do have that nice double sextile to, instead of drawing it in or highlighting, I'll just keep going, otherwise it's going to take too long. See how we have the Sun at 28 degrees Scorpio, sextiling Pluto at 26 degrees Capricorn, and then over here to Jupiter at 28 degrees Pisces. So we have a double sextile. Sextiles are opportunities. So there are opportunities of transformation, the light shining to help us transform and find our integrity and our personal power, and then connect with source energy to just find more and more and more, because there's no limit to your personal power. It's really, life is just a power management issue, though. We can't just constantly put it out there, right? It can be overwhelming. And our bodies can't really handle it either. We could blow all our circuits if we were highly connected to all of our power. It'd be like, well, it's like the sun or electricity. Like you need to have that amperage, the watts, the voltage, you need to have that regulated. So just think of it that way. But the opportunity is there to always have your deep power that's like, deep in your bones. You know who you are. You have your integrity. You have your responsibility to yourself, and you know how to control yourself, and you don't mind working hard. But with Capricorn, people don't like to be disrespected with Capricorn. People don't like being overlooked with Capricorn either. They want a pat on the back every once in a while. They appreciate that. And they appreciate others' sense of duty and responsibility and showing up and, being accountable. So there's a lot there for all of us as we move through these late degrees in Pluto. We know, again, politically, we know who the liars are, we know who the cheaters are, we know who the abusers are, and we want to see justice, and we're holding space for all of that to come through, but, boy, having to be patient, right? Okay, so the moon today in Libra that wants justice. So Libra is our sign that builds a bridge, wants balance, fairness. We want to be involved in partnerships. We sometimes have to be careful with being a little overly oriented towards, peace at any price or people pleasing. But we don't like not being treated fairly. And we can't stand injustice. And the moon in Libra starting out the week is definitely, well, and it was there Saturday too. But we're really feeling it. By Sunday, I'm doing this on Thursday afternoon, but by Sunday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, this feeling like, okay, come on. And especially with the moon opposing Chiron, it's, this is the bullshit of Donald John Trump saying he wants to be president again, or president. He really wasn't even legally elected the first go-around. I mean, what's his name? That little Prigozhin dude from Russia has said that they interfered. He admitted that they interfered in the election and that they are still doing it. So they've done it through social media. This is the problem with Saturn. Remember, Saturn was with Pluto in Capricorn. So all these people, like the old, what's his name, Jack Dorsey from Twitter, that he's not around anymore. But now we've got Elon Musk, and I'm not there, but we've always had Zuckerberg. You can replace his first name with or last name instead of the Z. Just put an F in front of it. That's what I call him. Anyway. These guys are going through some change, the tech giants. If they're not protecting people, if they're not doing their best to have a solid platform that protects people best they can, they're having troubles, and they are. That's why Facebook has lost so much money, and they're laying off a lot of people, firing a lot of people, saying that they overexpanded. Well, no, you just finally got caught with your dirty tricks. So things are changing. Remember, don't forget, always remember the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio, we're talking personal money and shared money. Personal assets, shared assets. So money, money, money with this polarity here, right? So some people are going to be feeling it. Now, of course, everything that we went through with COVID changed Uranus, North Node, changed the way we can make money because, it was really hard before. Thank God for all the essential workers. Thank you. I salute them all for hanging in there, and my goodness. I can't imagine what it must have been like for them. And all the nurses and doctors we lost, and all of the people we lost because of COVID, none of that needed to be. It didn't need to be. It definitely did not need to be so bad. So I have a feeling that because the moon was in Virgo, and now it's in Libra, we've been going through the later degrees of Virgo where we're adjusting to what has been, and then moving into Libra, we're like, oh, now I see, we really need, a lot of people are probably thinking, I really see where we need to make decisions. And if we're not going to make a decision, that's still a decision. And apathy is not a good thing. Needing to please others just to have money or, approval, that's an awful thing. And I think we're learning that because of this opposition with Chiron. There's at least that opportunity there for the day. And it's been a building opposition for days. So it's like me and others. Okay, so is the other person, are the others in my life, a healthy mirror to who I am? Or are they a distraction? Or why am I still trying to make them happy? Or, all these questions that we ask ourselves as we're dealing in relationship, as we are moving through, navigating is the better word, navigating through relationships. And we do have an adjustment here with the sun in Scorpio from the moon to the sun with this semi-square here. We do have actions, decisions that need to be made, and then actions so that we can grow and transform, because primarily that's what Scorpio is all about. The Scorpio-Taurus polarity is all about having people in your life that you can trust. People who are not drama queens and drama kings. People you can tell your secrets to. But there's also the fear of betrayal. There's also, challenges to, to intimacy. There's also betrayals that every soul goes through. That's just part of being human. People that you love will betray you. That's part of being human. But as long as you keep coming back to yourself, Pluto and Capricorn, come back to yourself. Don't betray yourself. You're waking up, and it's good. That's very good. So with the moon, now you can see, and I will go ahead and color this in because it's gorgeous. The moon is in a grand trine. We have a grand air trine this morning. And will continue on throughout the day because see how the moon's at 14? We've got 22 degrees here and 19 degrees here, so it's going to be an orb all day. And so it's building, building, building. So the question here is, in relationship, we are going to, and the moon rules the public too, so it could be that on the public sphere we're seeing people talking about relationships as, building, like being more bipartisan and all of that. We'll see how this goes, but when it comes to our personal lives, there's a question about, can I build a future within this relationship? And then with the trine over to Mars, it's like, do I like what they're saying? And do we vibe together? Is there some type of chemistry? And I'm not talking about romantic at all. I'm talking about just, some meeting of the minds. Because you want to be able to relate. And if they're not telling you the truth, like, with that square over here to Neptune, the moon in Libra, it was starting to make decisions based on liars go away. Because you can't build, right, with this grand air trine, we're understanding that you can't build a future with a liar because you're setting yourself up for betrayal. And that's further reiterated with this Venus trine to Chiron, right? Because Venus wants to build. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Venus wants to move forward when it's in Sag, and Mercury's right there. There's lots of talking about moving forward, but who's going with who is the question. So let's go ahead and move on to Monday. And the moon's still in Libra, so the backdrop is, everything is the same, and, Chiron to the south node, everything I talked about before. So now I'm just going to focus in on the moon, because we're pretty soon we're going to be in the new moon. So anyway, the moon, later degree Libra for the day, is still in that trine to Mars, and then Mars is still in the trine to Saturn, because that's, an all-week thing, right? And with the moon involved, there's still that wanting to connect. The moon is the force within us that wants to respond. We're using our intuition. We're feeling our way with our guts, literally. It wants to nurture. It's a part of us that wants to nurture. So we're wanting to nurture relationships, and there's a lot of talk and a lot of figuring things out. But I'm thinking that probably a lot of decisions will be made. Now, the moon is also squaring Pluto, So the decisions have to do with power dynamics, right? But also, because of the square, that brings in that challenge of like, well, wait, is this person just throwing their weight around because they can? You're seeing power management issues when we have squares to the moon. This can be like emotional manipulation. Like, well, fine, you're going to do that? Well, I'm going to do this. And then they'll do something that spites themselves just to get back at you. Or they'll say something silly, and then you go, oh, my goodness, I had no idea this person was that immature. And that's because we have this connection to Mars that is listening and trying to make decisions. And the moon, I'm sorry, Mercury and Venus up here in Sag is definitely, hearing everything and then making intuitive judgments based on what's coming through, what we're hearing. It's just how it goes. So bottom line is, politically, because politics is a Sag. Politics and religion are a Sag phenomenon. Yeah, phenomenon. Sagittarius is, because it explores. It's a place where we're like exploring what matters to us. Well, organized religion and sports is sometimes what matters to people, but more and more I see that it's not. Especially with younger people, and then us older people, we just get tired of it. I don't know. I have zero interest in organized sports of any kind, and religion either. So anyway, okay. The moon is still in that trine, still the trine there. Mercury, Venus, we're still trucking along together there. We're at that nth degree of Scorpio. This is, a very, very, very powerful position for the sun to be. So wherever the sun is, it's like that spotlight. It helps us understand more deeply who we truly are when it comes to Scorpio. It's our expression from within, of our purpose and our core energy. The sun represents, just how we naturally shine. And when it's, as it moves through all the, through the zodiac, it helps us to see things. It brings things up and makes us aware of, it gets our attention. So our attention is, we're thinking more deeply. We're thinking about, going deeper. We are going deeper than we ever have. So, but it could, at this later degree, it could bring up like some fear of betrayal. But we have the trine over here to Jupiter and Neptune this morning. So that's actually a nice way to connect into source energy here. And this is also great for artists and musicians, or any creative project you're working on. And even if it's just meditation, meditation is a work of creation. When we meditate, we are creating. We're creating something. So with the moon in this later degree of Libra, there's that possibility of that by this time. I don't know if it would actually go through all the way through, but that Respect for Marriage Act, it has a good chance of becoming law. That could be part of what that grand air trine was yesterday. And with the later degree, now with the square to Pluto, it's like, okay, well, some people are going to oppose it, but we can at least still work with it. Or maybe it does pass by now, and because I don't know, I'm saying I'm doing this on Thursday. Maybe it will have passed, and but then how to get it into law? It just has to pass, has to have enough votes, right? I thought it was like the votes were like 62 to 37, though. So that's quite a majority there. And there was bipartisan support on it, too, of course. So anyway, the moon with the inconjunct over here to Jupiter, there's an emotional or a public, well, it could be both, public and emotional, and like a way we're kind of digesting, navigating with our relationships. There's an adjustment if we want to grow something, if we want to expand, if we want to be more aware. This could be like a creative adjustment with a project, and because somebody had a better idea or a new idea, and now you're integrating that, trying to bring it together before you put it out. It could be something like that for Monday. But it's minor, it's a minor aspect. So if you get a little slowed down and it doesn't come through by the end of the day, don't lose heart. Just, keep working on it, whatever it is. Sometimes it's just a little tiny bit of like, oh, shoot, didn't know I had to deal with that. Imagine your computer breaks down, or your printer breaks down, or you shipped something and it didn't make it, or it's delayed, something like that. Could be something very minor like that. But with the square to Pluto, that would make sense too, because it's about getting things, the duty to get things done. And with the Libra moon, there's kind of like, oh, shoot, I forgot, Sometimes Libra can be procrastination. But a lot of times it's just because there's a distraction, because you're involved in a relationship. Somebody distracted you away from what you were doing, and you went there. And then it's like later on, like, oh no, now I have to, because you have your responsibility that you're still trying to take care of. Or someone dropped the ball on you, type of a thing. There's that possibility for the, the morning. Let's see. But this is, just know that the inconjunct, or quincunx here, same thing. It's a tight orb, so and the moon moves pretty quickly, so it's not an all-day thing. Let's see, is there anything else? The nice trine to Mars we talked about, and then up to Saturn. Yeah, there's a lot that can be accomplished in this day. The sun is still in that double, this aspect here is going on for a few days with Pluto to Jupiter, and to the sun. It's starting to move out of orbit, but it's still there. So let's go ahead and look at Tuesday morning. Why did I put it at 12:21? Moon's in Scorpio here. Oh, it's because the sun moved into Sag. So before, unless you stay up late, if you do, you might end up catching a second wind and then not be able to go to sleep for quite some time. So be careful on Monday night to get, maybe that's what that adjustment's about. Because air and fire can get us going, boy, that's for sure. So yeah, don't stay up too late Monday night because you might not get to sleep. Because the sun is now in Sag at, the crack of dawn. Well, not even dawn. It's, 12:21 a.m. Pacific time. So that'd be 3:21 Eastern, 4:21 Atlantic. But anyway, so it's moving towards Venus. It'll be a really good day. Waking up first thing in the morning, it should, a few things. We could wake up with some powerful dreams that have happened to help heal the past, with the moon conjunct the south node there. That can help us to eventually break through. As the moon crosses over the south node, it'll oppose exactly Uranus. There could be a real breakthrough, maybe with finances, or both, or one or the other, in relationship. It could also be just a really deep awareness that helps you heal something so that you're more free. And same thing with the sun, Venus, and Mercury in Sag. Now we have this stellium in Sag with the sun that's going to hook up tightly to Venus and Mercury. This is all about moving forward in a way that helps us to unify, in a way that we're all kind of thinking along the same lines. Now, of course, there's going to be different groups of people that think alike, but this is our, kindred spirits. This is our meeting of the hearts. This is our coming together to go in a direction that works. And while we have lost the sextile to Pluto here, we still have the sextile to Jupiter, from Pluto to Jupiter, happening. So again, there's still the opportunities to grow in our power, expand in our power in whatever way we are. Pluto heals deeply too. That's the thing. Pluto moves energy. It brings things to light. It can bury some things too, though. But then with Jupiter there, it won't be able to. If it were just alone, or with Saturn like it was, remember, a long time back, when we had when the USA had our Pluto return, leading up to that. So anyway, that's a distraction. But to stay focused here, with Pluto and Capricorn, that's that factor for being in your integrity, your inner power. And with Jupiter, you'll have that inner power when you believe in yourself, and you know that you are a limitless being of just unlimited pure potential. And Jupiter and Neptune and Pisces are supporting that. We will invest in ourselves more. I would see with this aspect more and more people becoming self-employed, because they realize that to work for themselves is very empowering, but to work for someone else that is not supportive of you and is very narcissistic or selfish, that's redundant, but any level of that is something that is deflating and takes away your power. And it's all about power management. So hold that in your heart. Yeah. So I think that's all I want to say about this. Yeah, because it's just a little semi-square here. That's no big deal. And that's just to the moon, and it's going to be moving quickly. So let's go ahead and go to the next chart, so we can see the new moon in Sag. So it's at 1 degree. So wherever you have 1 degree Sag in your chart, this is an excellent time, especially with this whole stellium of Sag energy. This is an excellent time to set your intention for figuring out which way you want to go. Set the intention to be inspired. Set the intention to be free. Set the intention to have the courage to speak up. Set the intention to have faith in yourself and figure out what really, really matters to you. And it couldn't be better because of the fact that, I'll highlight this here for you. With Jupiter is in this trine to the new moon and the sun. So, of course, when it's a new moon, it's always the moon and the sun at the exact degree. So with the trine to Jupiter, there's a nice flow to exploring meaning. Remember, Jupiter rules Sag, so we're all exploring what really matters to us. Now, this happens at 2:57 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon. And there wasn't a lot happening on Wednesday morning, so that's the reason I didn't run another chart there. I just stuck with the Tuesday. I looked at it and went, the moon wasn't even making any major aspects. So anyway, we do have, between the Sun and Venus, we do have the semi-square here to Pluto. So there is going to be, besides the power to set intentions and go in the direction that you want to go, find that freedom, or to be free to express yourself and to continue to grow. I mean, this Sag new moon is excellent for deciding that you really want to heal your soul deeply, and you're going to do everything you can to figure out what that is. You know, what are your false beliefs that have been holding you back from moving forward? What do you need to do to believe in yourself? What do you need to let go of? And the South Node in Scorpio is supportive of all of that. And when the sun and the moon start moving towards the really, really tight degree, we've got an 8-degree separation here between Venus and Mercury, 8 and 9 degrees. But when it comes to, because these are going to, they're going to go this way, and then it's going to be tighter and tighter. And there will be an intensification of that need for freedom. But freedom comes only through self-responsibility. For believing in yourself, standing up for yourself, being accountable for yourself. Explore, who you really are deep inside. Figure out what you really believe. Because your belief creates your reality. What we believe about ourselves in life and the way life can be for us, that sets up, that organizes our reality. So with the trine to Jupiter, the double trine to Jupiter, we have all these opportunities to understand. Pisces is about understanding. Jupiter is about believing, and believing in yourself always helps you to understand yourself. And when you have all that, when you come back to yourself and you know who you are, you automatically understand others. And that's a wonderful thing. So we also have, let's see, let me go ahead and check. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and move forward because this is still Wednesday, but later in the afternoon, Jupiter is now direct. So there's the moving forward again to catch up to, well, it didn't catch up all the way, but we will have a Jupiter conjunct Chiron. All these wonderful opportunities for healing. Really, really wonderful. But what I wanted to talk about for a minute was the Chiron. See how, Chiron's here. And it's in a double trine to Venus. Wait, hold on. 12. Yeah, Venus and Mercury. But the sun and moon, they'll catch up too. So the trine is a nice, easy flow, graceful, easy flow of energy. It's not always, it doesn't always feel that way though, but it's at the absolute, you can say, about it is that there's a connection. Opportunities and graceful, easy flows, like with the sextiles and the trines, sometimes it's just that it's a connection of energy, and it's like, ugh, I don't like that. You're seeing it on the news, you're going, oh. So, but it's there. We have those aspects. So, from Venus that wants to unify to find the truth, wants to go towards the truth, and we're thinking and talking about the truth when it comes to Mercury. And with the double trine to, Chiron, we're wanting to know the truth about our false beliefs, we're wanting to know the truth about our deepest wounding, and we're wanting to know how we can heal ourselves from within. Well, everything's always about going within, figuring out your beliefs. And now that Jupiter is moving forward, it has stationed direct, but it still has to get out of the retro shade, which won't happen until Valentine's Day. So we're still working through this. Yeah. So even though it's gone direct, we're still going through those last degrees of Pisces, and then when Jupiter gets back into Aries again, it will feel like we're moving forward a lot more quickly. But like I said, we're going to have to wait until February 14th before it has to get past at 9 degrees. I think it was 18, what was it, 8 degrees, 55 minutes is what it was when it went retrograde. But as you can see, Chiron's going this way, and Jupiter, once it catches up this way, we're going to have it's going to meet up together, and that will be very, very healing. Jupiter heals, helps to heal, helps to expand, and our deepest wounding when we're talking Chiron. And again, like I said, our deepest wounding also carries our deepest, beautiful, beautiful gifts. So let's see, what else? And healing the past, that's that aspect that's hanging out for quite some time too. Going deeply, just use all of the opportunities that the universe is providing for going deep within and clearing out, because we can literally let go of lifetimes of old false beliefs that have held us back. Why hold on to it, right? Yeah, we have our physical limitations. Geez, I know how that is. But if we just show up and do the best we can every day and pat ourselves on the back and love ourselves through the challenging times and love ourselves and others, we can't really love anyone else until we love ourselves. But if we can just send the best intentions and the best love and or the best of our hearts, send love outwardly, that's the best we can do, always. So from Wednesday afternoon, that's the new thing in store for us. Everything else is the same. I love that stellium in Sag there. And as you can see, the moon has trucked along, and now we have a really tight stellium here. We've got an 8-degree separation between the sun and Venus. But it's still a stellium in Sag, and I love it. And now we have that. There's 3 trines here. So these 3 planets here are trining Chiron. So there's a lot of moving forward after all that deep work. And the sun is trining Jupiter. This should be really good, too, for all types of creative pursuits. With the sun in Sag here, definitely moving forward. But because of that trine to Jupiter and Pisces, I would think it'd be really, really good for, I guess on one level, a lot of us are getting ready for Thanksgiving or celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day and Thanksgiving. We do have this double quincunx here to the North Node from these 3 planets up here. So there's adjustments. Now here's something I like. So the North Node is right here. So the North Node at 13 degrees Taurus is moving forward. This is the future. And with that in conjunct to these 3 planets up here, to Venus and the Moon and Mercury, I would think that this can be very healing because Sag would definitely rule indigenous people who have traveled the earth, people who are Native American or indigenous people, people who aren't afraid to speak up anymore about what they've been through. Now, sometimes, especially with a quincunx here, there could be an adjustment because I think some people have been in pain because they haven't been believed in the past and they've been held back, are now speaking up and saying, hey, this happened. Everything to do with any of those sex scandals and Harvey Weinstein and all that other crap. Maybe something else will even come out. Because with the sun here in Sag, that'll shine the spotlight on the truth. That's for darn sure. And especially with that trine there to Jupiter with this stellium here. My goodness. Yeah, there's a lot of truth coming out, a lot of seeing the lies that are spinning. Because remember, Mars rules Aries, and Aries rules the eyes. Now, if you guys are having, I've been talking to, because I do personal readings almost every day. A lot of people have been having eye twitches. And that is definitely a Mars retrograde, especially when it comes into so much information. We're reading, we're trying to get all these words, we're trying to learn everything, and it's from too much screen time, and it's from too much reading words, it's from not enough eyes closed time. So the way to counteract that would be to meditate, use that Neptune and Pisces, close your eyes and rest. Don't spend more than 20 minutes looking at one time, looking at a computer screen. Even if you just look away, just take a minute or 10 seconds or 30 seconds and just look away from the screen. It helps. But yeah, it's just too much. It's like information overload into the eyes. And that could especially be part of, with this Chiron here in Aries. So let's see, what else for Thursday? I don't know. I'm feeling like it's going to be one of those nights where it's like, let's find a good movie. Oh, this is important. These 3 little semi-squares here to Pluto. Yeah. You know what? It just might be one of those Indigenous Peoples' Day Thanksgivings where people are talking about the truth and waking up some old people that didn't know the difference. I think we do know by now. I mean, I just think they should take Columbus Day off of the dang, holiday. Give the postal workers and government employees something else. Give it, make it something else. Or maybe they did. Maybe that's what Indigenous Peoples' Day is. I don't know. I just made that up for myself, but I don't know. You guys let me know. I'll have to look on a calendar. I don't keep track of that stuff. Jupiter is in a double semi-square here to the North Node in Uranus. So again, the changes. Actions. Maybe some of this is we don't really want to go shopping for Thanksgiving dinner, but we have to. Or maybe we're having to make a different adjustment because we're not finding what we want. There's actions that need to be taken to get to where we want to go, is all I can say. Which, that's just life. But some days you can kick back with it and blow it off, and other days you can't. And I'm thinking that this is one of those days that we can't. Because it's Thanksgiving. So, and happy Thanksgiving, by the way. Happy Gratitude Day. Happy Gratitude Day, where there's going to be lots of talking, lots of sharing truths. There could be some storytelling with all the Sag energy that's really beautiful. And it could turn out to be really fun, but it's looking like, action's going to need to be taken. Somebody's got to do the dishes, right? Maybe the guys will help. Or maybe the guys did all the cooking and the women don't mind. Or you never know. I mean, homes are so many homes are so different. But then again, hold on. There could be arguments with the, because, holidays do bring that possibility in, don't they? With the Neptune square Mars. I'm thinking the adjustments here, now that I'm looking at it, yeah, you guys, if it's the political or, so if you're hanging out with somebody for Thanksgiving that doesn't have the same political or spiritual beliefs that you do, and they're coming at you like the evangelical Taliban, or they're going off about, they're going to vote for Trump again, set a boundary. Take your Pluto and Capricorn and literally say, I really want to stay connected with you, so can we just not talk about politics or religion? Can we vow to do that so that we can just hang out together? Let's just talk about ourselves. Or let's talk about our family here. Let's figure out a movie we're going to watch later. Or let's figure out the games we're going to play. We can get the board games out. What game do you want to play later? Let's talk about that. With Mars square Neptune, it might be easy to distract some of the younger ones that are fighting or the older ones that want to pick a fight. And with Uranus and Taurus, you can definitely, that action that's needed to make the change for healing. So all I can say is try. But if they are hell-bent on just being buttheads, then you're going to have to make another decision about what to do with that. Okay, Friday. The moon has moved well beyond this Sag stellium we have here. The sun is still moving forward, but Mercury moves right along with the sun most of the time. It doesn't stray too far from the sun. So we still have a lot of Sag energy going for the rest of the month. Excuse me, hold on. But for the day, the moon is opposing Mars. Oh goodness, I need water. Just a second again. Okay. All right, so the moon is opposing Mars. Well, you can see it's at 25, so it started happening in the middle of the night. If you have any people spending the night from Thanksgiving, there could be a little bit of confrontation. This might be same advice as from Thanksgiving. We don't have political conversations or religious conversations if we don't have the same beliefs, unless you want to try and open their mind a little bit. But if they start to be mean, or because we have these people out there that are QAnon people. We have these people that think the Democrats are pedophiles and baby eaters and baby sacrificers, and that JFK Jr. is still alive and he's going to come back and be president. If there's any of that still going on in your house or on a phone conversation, because you're trying to catch up with all your family members, even the ones that aren't close by, and a lot of Thanksgiving weekend is about that, you are probably going to have to be very careful with your conversations with this Moon-Mars opposition here, and especially with Mars retrograde in the square to Neptune. This is very intense here. Okay? So from Thursday and through Friday, maybe even into Saturday, we'll see when we get there, but even with the moon in Capricorn, it can be very headstrong. Oh, goodness. With this sesquisquare here to the North Node, there can be stubbornness. Boy, be careful. Be careful about arguments Friday morning. Is this another one of those bullshit Black Fridays where people go shopping and try to bust down the doors at Walmart? What I would say about that is don't. If you're thinking about going out and doing Black Friday shopping or returning gifts or any of that, I would say don't. Do it online, or just don't do it until way after, because this moon opposite Mars is not good. It's not good for arguments. It's not good for getting things done. The only thing it's good for is confrontation over a person's belief system. I don't know. If you're in a debate, maybe it'll be good. Ooh. Let's see, the best way to use the energy, because that's what I'm always looking for, is to feel your way into what the truth is. Trust your intuition, no matter what's coming at you. Get out of the way if you need to. If you wake up in the morning and you think you were going to do something, maybe Thursday night you committed to doing something, and Friday morning you wake up and go, oh, I don't want to. Don't. because you want to trust your intuition with a setup like this. And that's especially true. Here, let me draw this in. So I'm talking about the moon opposing Mars and squaring Neptune. So we've got the possibility of lies and arguments here that don't go anywhere and don't resolve, okay? And then Neptune is up here squaring the moon too. So it can turn into something very emotional that doesn't need to be. Because Sag in the negative side can be very self-righteous. They can be very, the patriotic, there can be a lot of dogma going on, religious or otherwise. They definitely want it. They really, really want to speak up, right? Because remember, Mercury and Venus is there too, and they might have all these different beliefs about how women should be barefoot and pregnant. Do those dishes, get my laundry done so then I can go home. Stuff like that, baloney like that. You never know. Or they see something on the news and it triggers them, and then they just, they're off and running. And where's my beer? I don't know. I think I'm just gone nuts over here. Let's see what else we have for the day. Okay, so the South Node here, North Node, Taurus, and 2 quincunxes to Venus and Mercury. Yeah. If you want to move forward in your self-preservation and your pleasure and happiness and bliss, stay away from any arguments with people that you don't jive with as far as belief systems. That's the adjustment too. Like just go the other way, basically. Yeah, and you know what? It's not. I'm looking at these 2 charts and thinking it's not a good weekend. It's not a good weekend for travel, even though everybody's going to want to. Make sure it's just like short distance, and make sure you drive your own car so you can leave when you want. My goodness. When we have the trine, so with all that energy, all that, could be talking about things that you don't want to talk about with people because you don't have the same belief system, so why do you want to listen to their crap? There can be a lot of that, and it can be wounding. You could start sitting there, listening and going, well, don't I matter? Doesn't what I think matter? Well, they're talking about abortion should never be legal, something like that. You never know. Yeah. Okay. Jupiter's still in that nice trine to Pluto, so there's still those opportunities to heal if you stand up for your own integrity. Yeah, Saturn, okay, yeah, those are the same, right? Okay, I'm just looking at everything that's from all week long. Now, the moon is in a semi-square here to the South Node, so that just reinforces what I was saying. Only connect with those you trust that morning on Friday. Let's see what Saturday brings. Saturday, the moon's in Capricorn. It's in the aspect of the architect. Okay, so right here, so the moon here, in a trine to Uranus and the North Node, and then a sextile over here to the South Node. So the moon is now in a very favorable position to really get something done. The moon's holding space for us to connect to what really matters. It's helping us to be very full of self-responsibility, self-control, getting some work done. I would think if you've had to be with relatives that weren't so good to be around, you're healing from that, and you're on your merry way to move forward in the direction that you want to go. And you've integrated something from the past, or you're in that process. There's the opportunity of going more deeply into yourself because you've had an encounter, I think, with someone, either over the phone or in person, that was challenging for the weekend. Or for the holiday. Let's see. that's about it. I mean, we do have these inconjuncts going on, or I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to, it's actually quincunx is the right way to say it. But either way, whatever we want to call it, when we see these green lines with a little like K pointing downward, just think to yourself, adjustment, because that's what they mean. It's an aspect of adjustment. So what are we having to adjust to? Well, maybe mom or grandma is telling you honey, you got to read the Bible every night. Or maybe it's an aunt or a sister that says, hey, I found this spiritual book that's really awesome. And then you go, oh, well, let me look at it. And then you're like, whoa. So there's an adjustment. And it comes from whomever is speaking and you're talking to, communicating with, that wants to connect with you. Because Venus always wants to connect. It wants to unify. It wants to be in harmony. But then sometimes it just wants to like persuade us, seduce us into their way of thinking. So if it's not the direction you want to go, then just say, oh, that's okay, thank you. And then just go on your merry way. Or get away, or, something. Whatever you have to do to take care of yourself. Because we have this opposition, and it's a building. You can see how we have 12 to 14 degrees Sag here, and 20 degrees here throughout the weekend. And I'm not going past Saturday here, but Saturday we can count on the fact that Sunday, these two planets, Sunday and Monday, will be in exact opposition to Mars. So now there's a confrontation between what we're thinking and what other people want us to do. And we're probably talking about that because Venus, above all, will help us compare our values. And it will help us unite within. It will help us with our relationships and our self-worth and our values, with our attitudes towards other people, and our attitudes about women. There could be some new thoughts, some new awareness that comes through because of the opposition. But now oppositions usually bring confrontations. But after the confrontation, because remember the confrontations are mirrors. So think of a mirror here and a mirror here. And if you don't like what you're seeing, then you're going to hightail it the other way and go, okay, that person doesn't meet me and who I am, so I'm not going there anymore. Or if it's a person that you can connect with deeply, you can really get somewhere and there can be a big breakthrough. And it could also be that none of this has to do with a relationship with another person, but these could just be ideals in Sag and ideals and ideas with Gemini. Gemini ideas and Sag ideals. Sag beliefs and Gemini's learning and questioning, thinking outside the box with the polarity here. But it could also be lies and truths, right? Or lies and half-truths, which is still a lie. So it all depends on the situation, and I'll never know unless you tell me what it was. But that's what's on the table for Saturday, and I would say for Sunday too, because the moon is going to continue on in Capricorn, and then next week we're going to have the moon conjunct Pluto. That could even be Sunday. I have to look. Do I even have? Oh, it'll take too long. I'm always back before the next one anyway. So I'm doing this Thursday. You have it on Friday, so I'll be there to tell you about this before we even get there. But at some point, it's either going to be Sunday or Monday. We're going to have the moon conjunct Pluto, and that can be very, very powerfully illuminating as to your inner integrity, your own inner authority. So whatever arguments or confrontations you have to go through between Thanksgiving and the weekend after, I think will be very powerful and nothing to worry about. Just hold your own. Don't let anybody blow over you, but also do your best to not hurt anyone else. That's when it's better to just say, okay, well, I'm going to stop talking now. See you later. Or okay, gotta go. Whatever. If you're in the store, or you have a neighbor that comes over, and things like that. Yeah, you never know. Okay, well, I'm going to get this uploaded for you. Meanwhile, send you big hugs as always. Lots and lots and lots of love. And let me know how the week turns out for you guys. Okay, bye.